Okay guys, I'm gonna go ahead and hop in. Hey Nikki, my boyfriend and I have been together for 3 years and he still talks to his female best friends and new girls that he meets. I have expressed to him many times that I am not comfortable with it, but he just brushes me away. I do not expect him to cut off contact with every other girl, but the least he can do is inform me about his interactions and exchanges with them, which he has not done so far. Please advise me on how to cope with this jealousy, paranoia, and one-sided communication. Thanks a lot. Okay, there's a few things in there. Now, first off, there could be a few different situations going on here. One could be, I'm just saying, typically I find that someone who is jealous, typically, is one of two people. Either someone who could potentially be a cheater themselves or has cheated in the past and therefore is mirroring that like on other people. The example that I always give is people who are super like, no gays, this, that, blah, blah, like super like about it in the public eye, like over the top, where you're like, okay, I know you have an opinion, but calm down, and then they come out of the closet. It's usually people who feel the need to overcompensate that have that issue themselves. Either that or he's giving you a reason. And if he's giving you a reason to be nervous, which I'm going to be honest here, okay? I would be a little weirded out too. I'm just going to say that. If Dan was frequently talking to girls, texting and calling, hanging out with them, I'd be a little weirded out. And then you throw on top of that him not telling me, and then you throw on top of that me saying, hey, I get uncomfortable with this situation, and him brushing it off. Those things would make me very uncomfortable. You're not crazy. I wouldn't like that. You know, and like you said, you're not asking him to not just stop being friends with all these people. But for the most part, guys don't really depend on female relationships. They need male relationships, and if they get along with a girl and, you know, see him every once in a while, then awesome. Or, you know, they have girls that are friends every once, you know, like that's awesome, and they talk every once in a while. But consistently talking to girls and relying on them as friends is a little bit of an odd behavior for I'm assuming he's like a full-grown man. I don't know, maybe you're a teenager, but I will say you are not crazy. There's a line and you know it, and if you feel like he's crossed it and you feel like you've talked to him over and over, don't let him convince you that you're crazy, because you're not. If what you've said in this email is true, I would be uncomfortable as well. So my recommendation would be to talk to him, really explain to him the severity of like the situation, and tell him like, I don't want to give you an ultimatum, but you've put me in a situation where I have to, because I've told you multiple times over the last 3 years that this is how I feel, and you've chosen to invalidate and ignore my emotions. That is like a slap in the face from someone who's supposed to be my boyfriend, my best friend, which PS is essentially what the person you're with should be, your best friend. And I'm sorry, but your best friend should care about your emotions and not just invalidate them and squash them, especially when you're not being crazy. That's weird. So tell him that and say, and this is if you look at this situation and you're like, whoa, okay? And tell him, if this doesn't cool down, if you don't back off, I'm going to have to end our relationship, because as much as you can say, oh, I'm crazy, that's not the case, blah, 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 you can say it all you want, I still feel that way, and I don't want to be in a relationship where I feel like someone is not taking my emotions seriously and I'm constantly paranoid. I'm not a paranoid person, and I feel paranoid constantly. So that's what I would say, something along those lines-ish. I hope that helped. Alright guys, send your messages to asknikkip@gmail.com, and I'll talk to you later. Bye guys. Here are the things that I think are important before you get married that you guys need to talk about. Well, basically you need to talk about everything. But that includes, you need to make sure you're both on the same page as money. Like, who's going to handle the money? Like, are you guys going to be writing out your budgets together? Is he going to be handling the money? Are you going to be handling the money? Is it a joint account? Is it separate? I think